Java Edition is well known for its not exactly stellar optimization. This issue requires many players to install mods that dramatically improve the FPS of the game, such as OptiFine or Sodium. However, according to some, OptiFine was very nearly implemented into the game over a decade ago, but due to Mojang's incompetence and greed the effort failed, dooming vanilla Minecraft's performance forever. Are these rumors true, or was there never even a chance at all? Let's dive straight into the history of OptiFine to find out. Okay, so you're likely wondering, why does Java Edition run so bad in the first place? Well, there are a lot of reasons, way more than I could quickly list. But ultimately it comes down to neglect, bloat, and especially Notch, the original creator of the game. In late 2010, Minecraft entered its final stage of development, beta. Thousands of new players were joining every day, and the performance was absolutely terrible for the time. Notch was never the best programmer. He'd often make simple things far more complicated than they needed to be, while simultaneously being lazy in other regards. This led to the modding community stepping up and doing what they do best, Mojang's own job. On December 29th, a player known as Scaevolus released McRegion. It changed the way Minecraft stored chunks, allowing worlds to load up to 7 times faster. Notch was extremely impressed, and just a few months later it would officially replace the old world level format, and is still used today. Well, sorta, it's complicated but doesn't really matter. For his effort, Scaevolus would be credited alongside Paul Spooner and Hippopotamus as third-party modders whose work would become part of Minecraft. There's also a few others, but that's for another video. Regardless, this was not the end of his story, and he'd soon begin working on improving the game even more. Which leads us to OptiMine. Not OptiFine, OptiMine. Got it? Good. In January, Scaevolus uploaded the OptiMine mod to the MC forum. Instead of improving a single aspect like McRegion, it fixed various issues from rendering to explosions and reportedly saw a 20 FPS increase, which is pretty important when your game normally looks like a PowerPoint presentation. While OptiMine was quickly rising in popularity, another up-and-coming mod developer, SP614X, had a very particular grievance. If you've ever seen really old Minecraft videos, you've likely noticed the intense and heavy fog. On lower render distances it can be suffocating, and even directly led to this. This was really frustrating to SPX, as it caused the vibrant landscape to be washed out while actively hurting the gameplay experience for low-end players. So in April he released OptiFog, which gave you the ability to remove or change said fog. Alongside this, the programmer began adding new features including anti-aliasing, bug fixes, general FPS boost, and even a brightness slider. A lot of these things are now in vanilla, but it took years for Mojang to actually get around to it. As the months passed by, it became standard to install OptiMine and OptiFog together, becoming some of, if not the most, downloaded mods created at the time. But there was an issue. Scaevolus was getting tired of continually patching OptiMine. This was a period of Minecraft's history where it was getting major updates every few weeks, which meant modders had to constantly release new patches, leading to bugs, stress, and just plain boredom. For Scaevolus, this was too much, and in July he decided to retire from the project entirely and gave it to SPX. With the two mods finally managed by one person, they were stitched together and OptiFine was officially born in early August for Beta 1.7.3. As a side note, I just realized the word OptiFine is a combination of OptiFog and OptiMine. That's some neat trivia, I guess. Anyways, the first version of OptiFine included all of the features from the two separate mods, but it also had the iconic zoom feature, as well as strange things like the ability to change the time of day. I feel like I should say more about it, but y'all know what OptiFine is, right? It's got buttons here and some sliders there. I'm sure you get the picture. Going forward, Mojang began working on the Adventure update, which would dramatically change the game and be marketed as the official release of Minecraft. It was going to not only be massive, but even more difficult to run. With a looming deadline of November 18th rapidly approaching, there was perhaps no better time to properly adopt OptiFine into the base game. So why wasn't it? Well, according to countless users on Reddit and, God forbid, the YouTube comment section, they did in fact try to. But in typical Mojang fashion, their incompetence and vanity caused the deal to fall through. However, others claim it never even happened at all. And that's why this video exists. I wanted to find the truth. Most of these rumors first began in 2012 and slowly spread throughout the community. Anyone asking why the mod wasn't in vanilla would usually get answers from people who had once heard something about it before. And the supposed reasons why the deal failed ranged anywhere from Mojang not wanting to pay to SPX demanding the entire mod be added, including features like zoom that may have been seen as cheating. These claims were never backed up, but in 2019 the latter explanation was proven after an admin for the official OptiFine Discord said this.
Why doesn't Mojang just adopt OptiFine officially? The story is that Mojang offered to buy OptiFine at one point, but they only wanted parts of the mod, which led to the deal going nowhere.
However, a few years later, things took a bit of a strange turn when the Mr. Epic made a video going over the history of OptiFine, using the official answer to explain why the attempted buyout failed. Not long after this video was uploaded, the Q&A post was removed. Apparently the admin didn't actually have any proof, and SPX himself never publicly said that was the case. So does this mean that none of this ever happened and all of those rumors were false? Well, after a little digging, I managed to find statements regarding the offer made by both sides over a decade ago, and the true story is a lot more nuanced. I know that's a very scary thing to the Minecraft community, but don't worry, I'll make a video hating on Mojang eventually. On November 9th, 2011, a Twitter user directly asked Mojang if they had ever considered implementing OptiFine. Jeb, the soon-to-be lead designer of the game, had this to say.
We asked him about it, but we couldn't agree on the compensation for it.
A few hours later, this tweet was shared on the Minecraft subreddit because, let's face it, everything on Twitter gets reposted to Reddit. And perhaps surprisingly, SPX responded.
The biggest problem was that merging some parts of OptiFine and Minecraft is going to take time that I do not have. It has to compete with my work and my family, and this is where the compensation part comes in. It'll also split the OptiFine development in two parts, one based on the official source code and one based on the MCP sources. This is more than I can handle currently. But not all is lost. I still hope that we can come to common ground and I can start developing OptiFine with the official Minecraft source.
These are the only two sources I could find coming straight from the developers themselves. So here's what we know for sure. Sometime between late beta and the full release of Minecraft, Mojang attempted to implement OptiFine. SPX was not necessarily opposed to adding only certain parts of the mod to the game. However, the level of work required to properly implement it would take far too long. Due to this, he likely believed he would need to be compensated for far more than whatever Mojang offered. And despite this, SPX still wanted OptiFine to be vanilla eventually. In my opinion, that's the clearest the story is, and not much really needs to be speculated about. No need for conspiracies or Mojang being needlessly evil. It's just a failed deal, one of thousands in the gaming industry. But the fourth point does make me think. SPX did want OptiFine to be added, and Mojang was still interested in working closely with third-party programmers. So, could it have ever been part of the game? The short answer is no. The long answer is no with 100 O's. OptiFine will almost certainly never be part of vanilla due to three major reasons. The biggest issue with adding OptiFine is adding OptiFine. Not only would the mod need to be reprogrammed to work with the source code, but from what I have heard, its methods to make the game run better act like a band-aid to far larger issues, so it doesn't actually fix them. This can get easily broken as the game continues to be updated, or even cause Minecraft to be unplayable for a few players. OptiFine might not work for 0.1% of people, but that doesn't matter because it's a mod. However, if it was sloppily implemented into the game, hundreds of thousands of people could suddenly be unable to play. The secondary issue is the compensation. Mojang's offer was probably somewhere in the range of $1,000 to $10,000. When you consider how much work SPX would have to do while maintaining his family and work life, the only deal that would have been suitable was either a six-figure lump sum or a job offer to work with Mojang. These have their own issues. A $100,000 buyout would likely be seen as far too much for what OptiFine was really worth, while the latter would require SPX to quit his job he already had and move him and his family to another country entirely. Finally, as time passed on, Minecraft and OptiFine would drift apart. Minecraft continued to become a larger and more complex game, with each new update making it increasingly sensitive to change. We'd see the final inclusion of a third-party mod in 2014, and ever since then Mojang has focused on hiring the best programmers instead of trying to make quickly written, buggy mods work perfectly. For SPX, OptiFine stayed extremely popular, and the flood of donations gave him a stable, long-term source of income, which is a lot better than a one-time payment of a few $1,000s. Alongside this, he'd also start adding more and more customizable features to the point OptiFine effectively became its own client. While it was always a mod that prioritized player customization, I feel like for many years now it has become more important than the actual optimization. It's more like a total overhaul of the video settings menu, giving you the ability to change how the game looks or functions in pretty much any way you'd like. With newer and better performance mods coming out, I believe it will continue to embrace player freedom over just making the game run better. OptiFine will never be a part of vanilla Minecraft. Though, it does make you wonder, what if Mojang has their eyes on something, or someone else? Hello everyone. If you enjoyed this video, I think you'd also like the secret developer who changed Minecraft forever. Please be sure to leave a like and comment if you have anything on your mind. It really does help a ton. Finally, consider supporting me on Patreon. Anyways, I'll see y'all in the next video.